Good afternoon, collective. Tarot.flo here to give you another collective message. Today, I want to talk about 3D karmic relationships versus 5D high vibrational relationships. For a lot of you that are shifting, transitioning, coming into new spaces, if you are currently in a relationship and or moving out of one, you are being called to understand the difference between the two. Now, a 3D karmic relationship is based on ego, materialistic motives, and the purpose of those relationships are to help with you removing old programming, old belief systems, and coming into a much higher frequency. So, in those 3D relationships, one person is changing and the other person is not. And it's unfortunate, but the majority of those 3D karmic relationships could also be narcissistically based. So someone is a narcissist and the other person is the victim, and when you're dealing with narcissistic dynamics, that person needs a source of energy in order for them to be able to continue their manipulation, continue their gaslighting. Normally the victim is their source of energy. And so when you're coming out of these karmic relationships, it's going to be big for you to relearn yourself all over again. You had an identity and or belief system based on what that relationship was. And when you're moving out of the 3D mindset, you're elevating your consciousness to understand that, you know, everything that you had experienced with that person was to give you a lesson or to teach you something about yourself. And this is what is, I wish that people in the spiritual community would make it more clear instead of them being vague about what twin flames are. Because right now in the collective, there is a confusion between what a karmic twin is and or like a fallen twin and your actual twin. And the majority of the time, a lot of people think that they're dealing with their twin flame because it's toxic and it's karmic in nature. Excuse me. However, those type of relationships are allowing you to learn what an actual twin flame is so you can move past it, right? That experience is a catalyst for change. You are probably the catalyst of change for the other person that's not willing to do the work. And so when you detach from that 3D karmic relationship, you can begin working on yourself and going inward so that you can attract your reflection, which is your actual twin flame, your 5D divine union, right? And I hate to talk about twin flames because a lot of people have, their own opinions and this, that, and the third. But as long as you were tapped into source, and also if you've gone through that experience, it's easier for you to explain it. I was in a relationship with my karmic twin, and I thought that was my twin flame. And for a long time, I thought that those toxic karmic patterns were normal in twin flame relationships and are actually not. And that's when spirit reminded me that, not everybody on earth right now has their twin. Not everybody on earth has met their twin, experienced their twin, especially as we were in the snake year. A lot of people were, still removing the veil from that narcissistic pattern and or programming and trying to better understand it. And now that we are past that, now that we are getting out of those controlling programming and that narcissistic programming, we can finally focus on self and remove the ego so that we can have more heart centered relationships, more high vibrational relationships that are in alignment with the person that we're trying to become. So just know that if you have not had a high vibrational relationship, your person is also doing the same thing that you're doing right now. They're trying to figure it out. They're reading, they're learning, they're researching, they're unlearning and relearning. They're They're learning how to become their new self, right? And that's the one thing that is important to know about these high vibrational relationships that people are wondering, where is mine? You have to become an energetic match for what you want. We've been talking about that, right? And so at this time on my journey, I am not focused on a union with my reflection, with my high vibrational twin. I'm not focused on that right now. I'm focusing on me and doing my work so that when the time comes, I can attract my high vibrational twin into my life for divine union. And some of the key factors to know that your high vibrational twin is coming in is, first of all, you don't have to ask that person to do things for you. They automatically know or can feel when you need the support, when you need, you know, anytime you need comfort, anytime you need assistance. You don't have to bring it up to them over and over again and expect them to not do it, right? On top of you having, and it's going to be hard to explain because some experiences are meant to be felt and not spoken of. But when you come into these high vibrational relationships, you're not going to have the words to explain how deep that connection truly is, right? And this could be deeper. This could be past life. This could be in the astral plane, okay? These type of high vibrational relationships, you guys recognize each other and know that you guys feel familiar because there's an extension of you that existed somewhere else before that current moment when you met. Whether it was past life, whether it was in a dream, whatever the case, a parallel universe, okay? And so I'm just encouraging you now in these new spaces that if you did come out of a 3D karmic relationship and you're working on yourself, make sure that you are becoming an energetic match for what you want and also for the type of person that you want, for the relationship that you want. These are going to be important in these new spaces because as we are detaching from these 3D concepts, we are not only elevating ourselves, we're elevating our life. Our whole lifestyle is about to change. Okay, so don't get so wrapped up in where is my person? Oh my God, I'm sick of these toxic relationships. As long as you're working on you, you won't attract those toxic relationships anymore. Remember, I've been saying that you have to become an energetic match for what you want. And previously to that, earlier this year, I talked about people manifesting what they are, not what they want. So if you're not doing the work, if you're not going inward and, trying to remove the toxicity from your own life, if you're not doing that, if you're not working on yourself, you're going to keep attracting those same people, places and things that feel uncomfortable to you, right? And that's a part of the learning experience. You are learning how to set healthy boundaries. You are learning how to put yourself first. You are learning how to fill your cup before anybody else, before you even give your cup to somebody else, you know? And that could be intimate relationships, that could be family relationships, work relationships, whatever, friend relationships. We are moving into these new spaces where we have to focus on us and we are the priority. Everything else comes after, right? So I highly encourage you to read some books and do some research on getting a better understanding of what an actual twin flame is. Because the distorted idea of the twin flame comes from that 3D mindset that we are moving out of. A lot of you are coming out of that. So the uncertainty or the confusion is there because it's new to you. So, and the best thing you could do is tap into the divine, find out new ways for you to, learn how to meditate and learn how to tap into your own Akashic records if you don't have anybody that can do that for you, especially someone that you trust to do that for you. Okay. So I hope this message reaches you guys in divine timing and to let you know that if you are coming out of a toxic, karmic 3D relationship, that's not the end. That's only the beginning. Love you guys.